you should not just resign yourself to a war of attrition with capital, because, you know, that's not the kind of fight we're well equipped to win.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We got another text message. This one, the person did not identify themselves, but they said, "Hello, TVLR crew. I recently had the opportunity to hear an organizer from the UC Berkeley strike speak. While many view the strike as a victory, he underscored that the contract fell far short of their demands. He said the leadership was not as militant as the rank and file. To highlight this, he brought up one of their main slogans, 'One day longer.' He said he appreciated the sentiment, but that it misses the mark because it paints the strike as nothing but a war of attrition when they should have been escalating. He gave several examples of ideas for escalation that I won't go into, but his comment made me think of the Brookwood strike. I remember the 1 day longer being a frequent slogan. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject. Does a 1 day longer mindset stifle escalatory tactics and rank and file militancy? If so, do you think it was one of the issues that ended the Brookwood strike?" And I think that you were right to call out the mindset as opposed to the slogan itself, because I think the slogan itself is fine, you know, and especially the Brookwood, you know, the one that they used in Brookwood could actually play really well into, you know, having an escalatory mindset and a militant mindset, because they would say not just 1 day longer, but they said 1 day longer, 1 day stronger. And so, you know, there's a way that you could interpret that to be that, you know, we're going to keep building during the strike. But, you know, I think that you could tell from the outside that really wasn't done. And I couldn't tell you what the reason for that would be. I don't know if there wasn't enough support from the members to do anything more militant, or if the union was too worried about the potential financial penalties, which would be real, right? You know, doing something like that in Alabama. And so, you know, but you know, absolutely the lack of escalatory tactics is one of the issues for sure, I think. And I think that they would tell you that. And I think even the people who made the decisions to not escalate would say that was one of the contributing factors, because, you know, and they would just say that they would probably just say that they couldn't escalate, that it just wasn't an option really. And I don't know that I would agree with that, but I don't think that they would disagree with that. And so, but it is important, especially today, to not view a strike as simply not going into work. You do have to do a lot more, especially when you're facing these international, you know, multi-billion-dollar corporations, right? If you striking at one workplace, you know, even, you know, 1,000 employees, as we saw in Warrior Met, if they have a lot of cash reserves or other places elsewhere, then they're going to be able to wait you out. And so you have to be able to do some other stuff. You have to either expand the strike, or you have to figure out some way to hurt their profit. And in a lot of cases, just simply not going into work is not going to be enough to move the company.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Yeah, all I'll add on that is, if you're in a situation where you are locked into a war of attrition and it appears to be like that's how it's going, and there is not really escalation or new tactics coming down the pike, it's just sort of who blinks first, I would say that's probably not going to be advantageous for the union, because in almost any circumstance, the company will be able to hold out longer simply because they have capital. They have access to capital. They have their own capital. And so, you know, they can eat a loss for a while, and can probably hold on longer than any given union. Traditionally, I mean, there could be exceptions, of course. Maybe a small company and, you know, and a large union could maybe, you know, there's differences there. But certainly with Warrior Met Coal, yeah, they had massive coal reserves. They had the price of coal skyrocket. They had, you know, access to, you know, all the capital of the world, more or less, with BlackRock and things of that nature. So I get where you're going with this, though. I think if you're right, I mean, thinking about like World War I, where on the Western Front, it was just kind of a war of attrition, stalemate for years. And, you know, very little would actually get accomplished. Very little territory would change hands, and folks would climb up over the trench and get slaughtered in no man's land. And, you know, maybe a couple of inches here or there would change hands. And that's kind of how the fighting went for years. And in a war like that, typically the bosses are going to be better resourced and better able to withstand that kind of war of attrition. And so, I think if you find yourself in that situation, that's not good. It's probably does not bode well for your ability to have success. And so maybe there are other tactics you can try. Maybe there's a different strategic approach, you know, you can take to, like you said, address the company's ability to profit, or your ability to engage your membership and build power there. Maybe there's new actions you can try. You know, maybe, you know, I think if you find yourself locked into a war of attrition, and it's just, hey, we got to hold out one day longer than the company, see if there's anything else you can do, because I think that is going to be a hard fight to win. And even if you win, will you come out stronger on the other side? And that's something that's important as well, is when unions go on strike, ideally, you win the strike and you come back from the strike not only victorious, but actually in a better position than you were previously, with more engaged membership, more loyalty among your membership, and you know, maybe higher membership density. But you know, some long drawn out war of attrition is probably not going to play well. And so if it's that situation, I would encourage folks to think outside the box and see, you know, are there more allies you can bring to the fight? Are there more tactics you can bring to the fight? Whatever the situation may be, because I think I get what the commenter is saying there, and I kind of agree with that you should not just resign yourself to a war of attrition with capital, because, you know, that's not the kind of fight we're well equipped to win.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.